when we were in the Falkland Islands, we had to go up a hill. And this was at night. And there was fire coming down from the top of the mountain or hill. I was 20, I think at the time I was 24, 25, or a bit older, 26 in that time. And this fire was coming down, and I was completely and utterly frozen. And I couldn't move, and neither could the other guys, because there was so much fire coming there. And then one of the officers, typical English story, this guy, all he said was, he was armed with only a pistol. Typical British. He said, "Come on boys, let's go up there." He stood up. We all ran up that hill as if we were doing a marathon. I've seen colleagues of mine, one minute I was talking to them, and the next minute I was looking at somebody without a face or without a head, or without a... But I think your training takes over. Your training takes over and you do things that you would normally never do. To say that you're not scared there is a complete lie. It's not a John Wayne film. In Northern Ireland, I saw a military police woman who was under so much stress she shot herself in the head before, right in front of me. In the Falklands, we had sometimes things we had to do when they, for instance, the Argentinian pilots, they were flying Skyhawks in St. Carlos Bay, and they were half a meter over our heads. If you're not scared with that, and you're not scared with things that I've done things in the army that I wouldn't like to talk about, and I've seen things I wouldn't like to talk about. I was never sick before in my life, other than a cold. I've been a workaholic. I've never ever been sick or late or anything like that. And then actually what happened was on Easter Sunday, I sat down to eat my Easter Sunday dinner, and all of a sudden I had the most explosion in my head. It felt like my head was going to blow up. I had terrible pain in my leg, and then I saw my arm flying up and down like a flag in the wind. And after that I don't remember a thing. All I can remember is that happening, and then the following day I woke up in a hospital ward. And then I thought to myself, where the hell am I? What am I doing here? I suppose they'd given me something, I didn't know what I had, I didn't know where I was, and then suddenly, as I then used to smoke a lot of cigarettes, I wanted to have a smoke. But I started looking for something to smoke, I didn't have anything. And then I looked at the wall and I saw this sign, urology ward. What the hell am I doing here? Why am I here? It was all very fading, didn't have any clue what was going on. It's a bit hard to say this, but I was completely and utterly out of it. Over the next couple of days, they gave me all different tests. I had CTI, MRE, another thing, another. I spent 5 days in the hospital. Nobody told me why I was there. My wife came to see me. I said, "What's wrong with me?" She didn't know. Nobody told me anything. Then, on the Friday, that was after 5 days in the hospital, I was confronted by a neurologist and an assistant. They sat me down and said, "Okay, you're leaving this afternoon. There's nothing more we can do for you." And I was looking a bit still under the effect of whatever medication they were giving me. And the neurologist said, "You have probable cerebral amyloid angiopathy." Okay, for me that sounded like some, I had no clue what she was talking about. And the other lady said to me, Mr. Nakashian, you have to live your life extremely carefully. Okay, that was also a bit of a shock. What the hell is this? Then they said you have microbleedings. You have microbleedings. But the good thing is you don't have any tumors in your brain. So okay, that's fine. Looks okay. And then they said to me, I said, well, is there a cure? They said no. I said, oh, no. What is this? You can imagine just coming out of hospital or going home or getting ready to go home that you've been 5 days in a medical institution, nobody's told you anything. And then, more or less, I was getting ready to leave and the assistant said to me, she said to me, but don't worry, but don't look on the internet. I said to myself, at that time I was still a bit under the influence, but to me that sounded completely alien because I've been working with the internet for the past 18 years. It is not something that you're going to tell a patient to do. That is completely and utterly irresponsible. And I went home. I got into bed, I stayed there for 2 days, I was completely in shock. And then what I did, the moment I felt a little bit able to move around, I went on the internet. I spent 3 months studying everything about this disease. The next thing I looked were the symptoms. And I said, Jesus, this is something that I've been feeling, and not only feeling after the thing, that I've been feeling already at my work already for around 6 months to a year before I actually had the stroke. I'd been getting memory loss. I'd been feeling not as energetic and as active as I was before. 2 weeks before I had the first stroke, I had been feeling paralysis in my arm. When I drove the car one day, I tried to turn the wheel with the left hand. Nothing happened for about 2 seconds. It wasn't like it was long. I couldn't tie my shoelace up. I had a pair of Nikes on and I wanted to try it out. I couldn't move my right hand. But because the actual damage was on the left side of my brain, okay, it affects, the bleeding on the left affects the body on the right. What frightens me is a sickness. That thought, and then you study a bit. I opened up. The first 3 months that I was alone looking about this disease, I wasn't frightened, I was terrified. I was terrified because of the unknown. And I think what you have to realize is that nobody helps you here. No one helps you. And the fear is you think every second that it's going to be your last. You wake up in the morning and think, thank God I'm here. Every day. And every day. And you are frightened. I was in the military for 10 years. That's not scary, this is. How about dementia? I don't want that. That scares the shit out of me. Sorry about my language, you can edit it later. That scares the hell out of me.